Okay.
Okay, we'll begin.
Is this being recorded?
Yeah. Thank you. Just to acknowledge that we have our town administrator, Tim Godin, in the audience. So the agenda for this meeting is that we've received, we had sent some information to the Avon Regionalization Committee back on April 14th. And it looks like it got lost in the shuffle a little bit for a while, but they did receive it eventually, and they had responded to us with an email on June 8th. And I think, Beth, do you want to
Talk a little
bit about, or read the
that I
email
sent?
from?
Or
Well,
that they sent?
whatever you think is appropriate, whether you want to read what you sent and then what their response was, so we just get it on the record.
Right. So they had requested from us some information, and so on April 14th, I sent them an email and I said, following up on your letter requesting information that the Abrams Group is seeking. Most of the information that's being requested is available at DESE website, DOR website, and at Town Hall. And I attached, and I also wrote, I have attached a few documents that may not be available electronically that may provide some of the information you are seeking. Please feel free to forward this to the Abrams Group. So I attached to it the proposed school budget, the student enrollment figures that are most current ones, the staffing information. Let me see what else. Oh, I put our school choice on there. I attached that too.
Teacher's contract.
The teacher's contract, I attached that. So I sent that to them on April 14th. So then their response was this one, right? So on June 8th, the chair of the school committee, who's on the Regionalization Study Committee, responded and said, thank you for, sorry for the delay. She said, I'll get back to you if I need more. The Avon committee only has $20,000 to perform this review. Can your committee contribute if needed? Obviously, if the Abrams Group has to take the time to research this on the websites, the cost will be more. When Holbrook asked Avon to participate in the Mars study, our school department was cooperative and readily provided information to the company. What was the vote of your school committee? I do not wish to spend any more of Avon funds needlessly if there is no interest in regionalizing. So that was me.
So first of all, what was our response?
We have
Our response.
Yeah, when Avon, did Avon ask us to participate in the Mars study? What was the cooperation that we gave? What did our town give them? Is that what she's saying? When the vote went to your school committee?
Yeah, the school committee didn't take a vote per se.
What was our stand now? What was our?
Oh, well, I think there's two parts to it. One was, she was asking about a school committee vote that I don't think has happened.
No.
Regarding, I don't think the school committee's gone on record for or against regionalization. I think they're open to it, but they're waiting for information, and that's what this committee and a joint committee of Avon and Holbrook would hopefully produce at some point in time. But the other part was her saying the level of assistance that their school committee gave to us when we had the Mars report written. Now, I'm not familiar with that, but I think what she's looking for is, and what she's implying, I think, is that there was direct communication between our consultant and their school committee and their school administration. And I think she's looking for the same level of participation on our part.
Okay, so I have two questions.
But I'm not sure that what she's saying about the Mars report is accurate.
So the Mars report was based on a comparison of Avon and Holbrook.
Right.
Right, so that's a public record.
Right.
Why would she need to like?
They have it and we have it.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's been available to them.
Yeah.
We gave them a copy when we met before as a committee. I guess what I don't understand is why is she looking for, I mean, if they wanted to invest into a Mars study, which they already said at a committee meeting that they didn't want the Mars study because they didn't feel like that was a vendor that was reputable, A, right? That they said it, and B, what is she talking about when she says, what is the vote of your school committee? I don't
Well,
understand that question.
I think, you know, what I'm reading into this is that she wants, or they're interested in the school committee voting to support the concept, which there's no way that we're at that point.
Right.
You know, this is supposed to be a study.
Right.
That's all this is to
The
look
concept
at.
of regionalization?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so this is where, you know, and I think that my frustration is with this particular person, and I think that if she had sent a letter on behalf of a committee, and that, like, what we're gonna do in response to that, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with what she responded. But I don't feel comfortable with her individually sending a letter that says this, because, especially when she says, you know, a level of interest from us, I mean, how many times, in light of, you know,
Yeah.
stalking this person, you were emailing her and asking for a reply, and what's the status, are you interested? You know, she actually said at a meeting one time to us that she didn't think that she could go into regionalization as that town because she didn't want to fund a school that we were building. You know, we
Well,
completely
yeah.
told her that that was bogus information, it's not how it's gonna work. But the next step in this process is to form a regionalized committee with Avon and Holbrook.
Right.
And I think that that's what we have to say to her, like, that's the next step in this process, if they're willing or they are interested in regionalizing with us. It can't be, can you ask your school committees to do this, or we, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, would you like to say something?
I would.
Okay, absolutely.
Just keep in mind, I believe the school committee did take a vote to support the establishment of the regional study committee.
Right. Oh, they did.
Whose school committee?
Our school committee.
Yeah,
I
we
believe.
had,
We could
we
check
had
the
to
records,
do
but
that. I think we did do that.
Yeah.
But as
We
far
voted
as
for,
to form our committee.
Right.
The vote was
To
to
support
form
the
the
form.
Yeah, they didn't need to. It wasn't required.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I believe, we're going back quite a few years,
Yeah.
but I believe that there was a vote. I can check that
Yeah.
to verify that.
to form the regionalization committee between the two towns.
No,
This committee.
just to form this committee.
Right,
Yeah.
as theirs did too, because that's how it got formed.
Well, it was a
Well,
town meeting vote.
it's a
Our
town
school
meeting
committee
vote,
could
yeah.
have voted not to support it, and it still could have got formed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's what I'm confused in. So their town voted at a town meeting, not, okay.
Well, the school committee doesn't, it's a town meeting vote to form these committees. It's not something that the school committee has a say in the end, right, or an official say. But the fact that the Holbrook School Committee endorsed the formation of the committee is a positive sign. And I think, you know, whether the Avon had the same vote on their school committee, we just can't say.
Right,
But-
right.
But I think I also think that, and, you know, remember, I did attend a meeting of theirs at their
Yes.
request. And the reason they've hired this consultant again is to take the Mars report and to update it with more current data. That's what they're looking to do. And that's why they're pursuing this. And so they're really looking to update the Mars report with current data, because the Mars report's over 2 years old, I believe. And also to maybe get a few more questions answered that weren't addressed in the Mars report, that are on their minds. So basically what they're looking for is, from Holbrook is, and again, I think they're asking for the same level of participation with their consultant that their school committee and their school administration gave to our Mars consultant. So again, I wasn't there when that happened. She's implying that there was direct communication between the consultant and the school administration at Holbrook, in Avon, and with their superintendent. We haven't provided them the same level of integration at this point.
So
And is that something we would be willing to pursue with the school
Well,
committee and the administration?
You know, here's the thing, they're asking for information that's, for the most part, readily available.
Yeah.
They can get it. I don't see.
But maybe there's more to it, maybe there's some dialogue they want to
I
have,
don't-
the consultant wants to
I
have.
don't see our staff, asking our staff to start doing the research that their consultant should be
Okay.
doing.
Right.
That's how I feel.
And then to actually question whether we could fund it.
Well, that's separate.
It's
I
separate.
take that as
Like,
separate.
that's
I'm
just-
breaking this letter down, this email down from her into each
me,
component
and
part.
I guess-
I don't
and I
take
guess
it as one thing.
But that, you just said it, you just kind of reiterated what my concern is, that you're breaking it down from what she said. If they had formally written a request to this committee or to the school committee of Holbrook and said, you know, there's nothing in the past, or I'm not getting any feeling that they're serious about the next step in regionalization. Because, you know, the law says that the next step should be forming a committee, a joint committee between the two towns.
Right.
And it's never been mentioned. I don't think that she wants that. I don't think that she intends on that. And that's the law. That's not something we can either bypass or agree or not disagree or try to do this. Now, if she had said to you in one letter that she had sent to us that tuitioning kids in was an option, then yeah, that removes us from that. That
Right.
removes us completely from that whole scenario. And if that's the route they want to go, we don't need to even be sitting there having this
Right.
debate.
Right.
So.
And-
But we do need to acknowledge that prior to this email that we sent to them, they did send us a formal letter with with some specifics about what they were looking for, and so they did go through that process of writing a formal letter to us.
But-
We were in the process of writing a formal response, but it was taking time, so we decided to follow up with an email. I think one of the challenges, one of the problems with this whole relationship between Avon and Holbrook is that we haven't had a lot of direct contact with each other. I actually see this as an opportunity if we did get the school administration and school committee to engage with their consultant, that would be some real communication in a positive direction rather than doing a lot of this stuff by email. I think that, in the end, yes, we want to form a joint committee, but also, each committee, and Avon, they have a preparatory process that they've identified that they would like to go through before they approach us to form a joint committee. And I think we've given them a lot of space and a lot of time to do that. I think this is part of that process. And really, in the end, the alternatives, I think, are either, help them along, accommodate them as much as is reasonable, or, walk away and not know whether there's really an opportunity here or not. And for me, I want to proceed. And if it means going out of our way a little bit more to accommodate them, then I'm all for it.
So I want to just be clear on one thing, that I wouldn't have asked to be part of this committee if I didn't think regionalization for both school districts would improve the education of those kids, okay? That's what I think what this is about. But I don't think, to Beth's point, that we should be putting or agreeing to time that a school committee or an admin in the school committee or somebody who works there has the bandwidth to produce reports, like Beth said, for a consultant that they're paying to update a mileage report that's public record.
That we paid for.
That we paid for. So if you're gonna ask right now, I'm not gonna agree to that. I am not gonna agree to them to do something like that when they can do it. And if they did do it, Dick, I think that would show this town and me, at least anyway, I'll speak for myself, that they are
interested,
serious about doing regionalization with Holbrook. There's a brand new school going up, and it comes back to 2 years to build the school, more than a year ago when we met them. When the school's built, are they gonna come to us and ask to regionalize them? Because then they're gonna know that there's no money that Avon has to put in to build that school. Is that what they're, trying to do, like a stalling tactic? And that's what I kind of feel like they're doing.
My impression with some of the comments is that they're not interested, and they're finding all kinds of reasons why it's not gonna work. Now, the big question in my mind now, and I don't know that we have an answer to this yet, is do the numbers even make sense for us? And the reason I say that is because Avon graduated about 40 students this year, and probably 50% of them were school choice. So you're talking about 20 or 25 of those kids were Avon students. Would 20 or 25 kids do enough, number-wise, to enhance programs for us? Or would everybody be better off with the tuition in scenario, which, as you say, and we know, that's not something we'd be part of, and that's a discussion for another group. if Avon wanted to
Right.
pursue that, you know.
Right.
But I have real doubts at this time about their interest, and I have real doubts about how much educationally we would benefit, and how much the numbers would work for us.
So I think the numbers, in a sense, may still work only because you would think the enrollment in Holbrook goes up as well, so maybe it would offset or balance the numbers, you know, going back to 2 years when we looked at this originally. So that would be, that's a good point. I think that's a very good point. And I think that, you know, it would be our job to look at that before we say dissolve any idea or any, you know, reason not to move forward. Like that we should, as committee members, look at that to see if it's still sustainable. But that's a good point.
Well, I think that's part of, if we did form a joint committee, that would be part of what would come out of this whole thing. I mean, just because we enter into a joint working committee with Avon, we have as much ability to walk away as they do.
I don't know if I
when-
would want
once
to
it-
form a joint committee though with the question of whether it's a viable, you know, I don't know if I'd want to do that. Would you want to
No,
do that?
I
I wouldn't want to
don't.
do that. I wouldn't, because I wouldn't want to give them that false, you're not even the school committee, I wouldn't want to give the town, you know, that false hope that we would be willing to regionalize with them and they would benefit from a brand new school that we're building.
Well, I think that we don't have enough data to make that decision,
No,
to
that's-
come to that conclusion yet.
Yeah.
And I think the work group is the way to do that. Whether it's, you know, again, we don't have all the information from me. You know, I just don't see any, how it costs us anything to proceed and to try to get, and to begin the conversation with them. And whatever that takes is, from, in my opinion, to make that happen, I'm in favor of doing it.
Well,
Other than spending money. I am no opposed to spending any of the town's money on anything that is prior to the work group being formed.
But also, I think they need, if they're doing their own study, they need to do their own study. And if there's information that they need, they can contact the school committee and ask specifically for what that information is.
Okay.
But that hasn't happened. And, you know, my feeling now is, you know, we can respond in some way to that, and then it's, the ball is in their court, that's my
Yeah.
feeling.
Okay,
And if
so
we don't hear
let's-
from them, then
And I think that I would
that
rather,
answers it.
you know, I think that I would request, and I think our response does not go to just this
Right.
person. I think our response is drafted and it's sent to their committee and it's CC to their town administrator.
Mhm.
The
And
school
I think
committee
that
as well.
it should be paraphrased as saying, in response to your email and your request, here is what our committee is willing to do. And then I would ask for another meeting with them. I mean, as a last ditch effort, we can have another meeting with them, we can discuss, you know, maybe get the feeling, that last meeting, the only person that I got the feeling was really for this was the FinCom. The person,
Oh, the finance committee member.
yeah,
who's-
he was the only one that had, you know, he had cherry sheets, he had financial data, he had information on the students of that time, he was all for this. The two committee members, I did not get the impression, like you said, that they were interested, so.
Okay, so do we want to start talking about what things we would like to include in a response to the, in a letter to the.
I mean, I think one is
Avon
that
committee?
we wouldn't be open to.
All right, let's, well, we
providing
start
funds.
outlining.
Well,
that,
it's
so-
really easy, it's bullets, basically,
Yeah,
you know,
it's-
question one, you know, and somebody can draft it, I don't
Oh,
care
I
verbatim.
got it.
Yeah, I'll write it, but,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, I'll
Okay,
take a
so-
stab at right, you know, responding, but it's basically, you know, what was the, how did you bullet this? I'm not looking how you formatted it.
Well,
Oh,
this is,
what she did?
this is her response to Beth's.
Oh,
This is
okay.
Beth's, this is her,
So,
Jeannie's response, so, yeah. I think what we'll do is if you can draft a response, and then we'll have another meeting to go over the response letter and edit it.
I mean, if you want to, I don't have a laptop, if you want to type it now, it's like, it's literally like 3 paragraphs,
Yeah,
how I
it's,
look at it. It says, you know, and I would just say, you know, to her as the chairman, but to the whole committee, And it would just, you know, in response to the email sent to, you can even do it
Yeah.
from you, and we can put our
Yeah.
names underneath it as committee members, that's fine, because she did address the email
Yeah.
to you. But, you know the first sentence, the Mars, well, they're using Avon's as a group, but asking us to have our school committee cooperate. I think the response should be, and here's the wording, I want them verbatim, the response should be, you know, a request should be sent either via, you know, telephone, in writing, anything you need, but the request should go from them to our school committee. If they have the bandwidth, they can do it.
Yeah.
But, again, as I said previously, this email is available, I mean, this information is already
Yeah.
available to you. Stop there and we'll.
We should also, before we send this, double check what they sent in their letter to us and make sure that
I think I
we
have
don't
that.
say anything that conflicts with what they've
This is
requested.
this letter?
Yeah, that official letter
Yeah.
they sent, so and this can just be something.
I think I have on me to town letterhead, not we can
I have
ask
some here.
town manager over here then.
Well, I have some here.
Oh, do you? I think I have some
I got
too.
electronic.
Huh?
I got
Yes, it's electronic.
Oh, yeah, I got some. Maybe we can print it off of that too. This is email 12 of 15. That's how many times you emailed her.
I know.
Believe me,
You
I
know?
remember that, I know. I'm not saying this hasn't been, it has been easy, it hasn't been.
No, you've done
But-
the most legwork to be,
But
well,
I-
meaning hunting her down and, you know,
Yeah.
what do you think, and can we meet again, and to like crickets, you know?
Yeah, but again,
I know, the
That's-
intention is to,
we got kind of two choices. We either work with what we got or we walk away. That's my, and
I'm ready to
is-
walk away. I
well-
just want to tell you.
well,
yeah,
I think that, you know, I am too, to the sense, to the degree I should say of, you know, like, we are the ones who should be, you know, they should be coming after us. They should be coming after us saying, we want to take advantage and, you know, utilize your brand new school system, it's gonna be great, we want our kids to be part of it. Look at everything else Avon Holbrook does, you know, as two towns and coming together in other community events. Why not make it our school systems as well? And, you know, there's so much that they could be, you know, and then, it's like, you know, they're the princess and we're asking them to date to go to the prom, like, no, I don't get that.
I'm not disagreeing with what you guys are saying. I'm just saying we kind of have a binary choice here, and we can't always pick the people we work with.
That's not, I don't, yeah.
So far, I've written, as stated in my earlier email, most of the information requested is public information. However, if there's specific information you're unable to get, please forward your request to the school committee.
Right.
And then regarding your request for funding, Holbrook has already funded a study and is not willing to provide additional funding for Avon's study.
Right.
What else?
Oh, so actually, in this letter, the school committee chairman said we don't intend to take a position on, so her question about the school committee vote, it
Right.
was already addressed in this letter
Yeah,
to
yeah,
them.
we discussed it. They weren't gonna vote on the concept of regionalizing
But
yet.
maybe we can mention that the school committee did vote to support the formation of the
Yeah,
regionalization committee.
yeah. I mean, he sent
Let's
this,
do
he
that.
sent a letter
Yeah,
to them and
and she
Yeah.
quoted it
he
in her
never,
letter.
he never got any response from that either. in
Right,
his
so,
letter,
because
so.
she turned around and sent
Yeah,
this
so
letter.
in regards to your vote of our school committee in supporting the regionalization, it's preliminary right now, it's not, it's, you know, it's not something that
They
they
supported
could.
the formation of our committee, not
Exactly,
regionalization.
right,
Yeah.
and we're still at that, you know, stage of investigating possibility.
Yeah, so this letter was copied to, the letter they sent us was copied to the school committee and the superintendent of schools in Holbrook, as well as their own schools. You want to see it?
No, I actually put it up on my
Oh,
phone
okay.
because I
I just
forgot to
wanted-
print it, so
Yeah. No.
I have it on my phone, that's why, I'm not being rude and.
Okay,
I'm
no,
reading it
I
from
just
my
didn't want to
phone, yeah,
deny,
that's why
you
it's
know.
in 12 or 15.
This is in bigger print.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what-
right. I have
know
the
I would
eyesight
think.
for my age. Shut up, Mr. Gordon.
Answer.
So in the next paragraph, I put regarding your question of the Holbrook School Committee's stance, the committee supported the formation of the study committee, but has not taken a stance on the concept of regionalization and waits the report of Holbrook's regionalization study committee. Because that's what they
Yes.
said, they're gonna wait until we,
Right.
Right.
and we probably
That's-
should give
that's
them some
appropriate.
kind of summary within the next month or
Yeah.
so of what we've done and where we are. I mean, I give
Yeah.
them verbal reports at the school committee meetings, but
Right.
we should
Yeah.
probably
We
do
could-
something
Formalize that,
formal.
and the same
Yeah.
for the town
And,
administration.
yeah, it would go
Yeah,
to Tim
Yeah.
too, yeah.
All right,
Yeah. okay. Well,
and then I think that I would just end it as in regards to the interest of Holbrook in regionalizing, I think that I would say that we are still interested if it, I think that, I don't think I would say we're not interested. I think that I would say we are still interested, but feel the next steps would be a joint regionalization committee between Avon and Holbrook if your study, I don't know, warrants, I don't know, and you want to say nothing at all.
Or we
No.
look forward to the results of your study, because that's gonna determine what happens next.
I can't imagine that a study would come back against or not favorable for regionalization if they have those numbers in a school system or a school building that's
yeah.
gonna be in needs of repair. They're not gonna have.
Yeah, let's end it with this,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
said, a nice closing that,
I
we're
would
still,
say, we look forward to the
we're
results
interested
of
in
your study,
engaging
right?
with them.
If your I would say if your study results support a regionalization, the next steps would be to form an Avon Holbrook Regionalization School Committee,
Regionalization committee.
regionalization committee.
Yeah.
If your reports support a regionalization district, the next steps would be, because that is the next step would be to form an Avon Holbrook School Regionalization Committee. Wait to hear from you soon. Happy July 4th. I'm kidding. No, I'm teasing. I have to get the wig out from 2 hours and comb my hair. I think this puts the ball completely in their court.
Yeah.
No, and that's fine. Maybe on the first sentence, we're talking about the funding.
Yeah,
Maybe could we add something about that, Holbrook would certainly participate financially once in the cost of any work that a joint committee.
I don't know if that's
I don't
true.
wanna commit to
That's not true
anything like
anyway.
that. We don't
Yeah.
know that. We don't know what
The
that
money
means.
allocated for
Yeah.
us is strictly about what we would hire.
Well, I'm
for
just saying,
consultants,
this would
not-
be for the joint committee. The joint committee is gonna have expenses. We're gonna have to have consultants as part of the process, because
Right.
so I'm just saying that, if we can put in something positive, that we're,
So then
we're not gonna say no, we're gonna say no to giving them funding now, but once a joint committee's formed,
But that's-
that we would expect to participate in the cost of that,
Yeah, but I don't
of that
think I would
committee.
say I think that we should say that funding may be available once a committee is formed.
Yeah, okay.
But I think that's a requirement of a joint committee that you share the cost of all your
Everything,
consultants.
right.
And so I think that's a given.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to add
Yeah.
a positive piece to the financial response.
Yeah, I get
Just
that, you
make-
wanna fluff it a little bit, I get that, but I think I would just say funding, may be available once a committee is formed. Like, right now, come back and tell us you wanna form a committee.
Yeah,
Come back and
exactly,
tell
and
us
that's
that you
what I'm trying to do, is
studied
encourage
through-
them
yeah.
to get to that point where there's a joint committee. Sooner the better.
Right. I would like to say in there though somehow, and I don't know if it's too forward to say, you know, please let us know if you don't want or have no, you know. I mean,
Rather not
what's a-
reciprocate with the same language
No,
they sent
you're right,
us.
but what's the appropriate time frame to go
Yeah.
by that says, but no response?
Yeah,
It
well,
was
that's-
April
yeah,
till,
right.
you know, June,
Right.
before she replied. So what's
Yeah.
an appropriate time that we should let go by before we say they're not interested?
Yeah,
How
and
long
I
did it take
think,
for our Mars study?
yeah, well, it took, did it take 6 months?
Yeah.
Probably about that.
Yeah, about
Yeah,
that,
so
yeah.
is it safe to say, can we request for them to let us know if they plan on moving forward with the study? Because if they do, then we'll give them 6 months for them to do this.
Right.
Well, again, they're
Yeah.
revising an existing study, it shouldn't be as much.
Well, I think-
But,
But if you don't hear from
yeah.
them, should we, I don't wanna
Well, like
assume
the-
the word,
I,
assume that they're
you know,
not.
I'll give her, once we get this letter out, I mean, I would only give her a couple of weeks before I would start following up again, but, so,
Okay.
yeah, and we do have something in there that about us being interested in moving forward and forming a joint committee.
So I think we should ask them to let us know. We should ask them
Yeah,
something.
yeah, I just
like-
wouldn't give them a hard,
No, but,
timeline.
you know, please
Could you-
inform us about where you
This-
are in this
yeah.
process or
Right.
something.
Yeah, that's good.
Could you
That's-
please keep us in,
Yeah.
you know, you please reach out to us, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Or could you please let us know your decision whether to move forward the study or not?
Yeah.
Something is,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we've come up with there is a good, positive response to what we received.
So I'll clean this up a little and
Okay, yeah.
print it out, and I'll send
Send it,
it
yeah.
before, I'll have you look at it before,
I'll look at it if you want me to just, but I mean,
Mhm.
if you want me to just look at it for,
yeah, because I just want to clean up a few things and.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so-
Do you want this hard copy?
Yeah, and I'll send, once we do send this, we'll send copies to our town administrator and the board of selectmen and the school committee.
Yeah.
And Avon's as well.
Yeah, I mean, the way
Yeah.
they did it in their letter, they CC'd a whole
Yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
folks, and that's, I think we probably want to CC the same list,
Yeah,
and plus
Yeah.
any Holbrook folks that they left off.
I agree.
okay,
All right.
all
All right,
right,
motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Second.